So like a while ago, I made a video about Inside Out, the first one, the good one. And in that video, I said this. Inside Out is probably Pixar's last great movie. Turning Red is very good. It's very good, okay? But I just don't think it has that same Pixar magic that like Wall-E, Up, Monsters, Inc., or Inside Out have. Actually, Coco might be up there too. I don't remember. I have to watch it again. But crazy plot twist. Turns out, I don't think I ever actually saw Coco. Like, I think in my head I was confusing it with like Luca and Encanto or something. But anyway, so Coco came out in 2017 and was yet another home run for Pixar. Critics loved it. Audiences loved it. It was the biggest thing of all time. Now, even though I've done Beetlejuice, and Hotel Transylvania, I wanted one more kind of sort of like Halloween-themed video for the year. Now, of course, to be fair, Coco is not Halloween-themed. It's about Dia de los Muertos. But that holiday is November 1st, so close enough. So come along, kids. Let's take a walk. The movie starts out with some backstory about the family of our main character, Miguel.
Sometimes I think I'm cursed because of something that happened before I was even born. See, a long time ago, there was this family. The papa, he was a musician.
Okay, well, there's your first mistake, okay? The only thing worse than dating a musician is dating a YouTuber, probably. Honey, the algorithm's at it again, I tell you what! Yep, sure it is, honey.
But he also had a dream, to play for the world. And one day, he left with his guitar and never returned.
Hey, what do you know? My dad also left to follow his dreams, except his dream was going to 7-Eleven to buy cigarettes. Anyway, so because the dad left, his wife was all by herself to raise her daughter. Hold on. My dude, you left this? Are you stupid? So the wife took care of herself and her daughter by making shoes, and then she taught her daughter how to make shoes, and long story short, now the Rivera family are known as the best shoemakers in town.
You see, that woman was my great-great-grandmother, Mama Imelda. She died way before I was born. But my family still tells her story. Every year on Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. And her little girl, she's my great-grandmother, Mama Coco.
You know, there's a good handful of kids I went to high school with who got like really into drinking, and then they really got into drinking in college, and now here we all are in our mid-30s, and they kind of look a lot like this. Anyway, so this is Mama Coco, Miguel's great-grandmother, but she has dementia, and she's about 400 years old, so she kind of just sits there while Miguel tells her all kinds of random nonsense.
How are you, Julio?
Actually, my name is Miguel. Mama Coco has trouble remembering things, but it's good to talk to her anyway. So I tell her pretty much everything. I used to run like this, but now I run like this. It's just way faster.
but like really though, you know, like you ever try talking to kids? I got nieces and nephews, you know, and like they're all just the worst storytellers of all time. Literally every conversation is just.
Have you ever had a dream that you want?
But okay, so something else really important to know about this family is that because the great-great-grandfather left to pursue music of all things, the wife he left and all their further descendants have sworn off music forever. No music allowed, no sir, no ma'am. Probably the only Mexican family in history who has ever said this.
No music. No music. No music.
I think we're the only family in Mexico who hates music. And my family's fine with that. But me?
Be back by lunch, mijo.
Love you, Mama.
Wait. Hold on, Miguel. That's your mom? Your dad pulled a Pixar 10 by making shoes? The heck have I been doing this whole time? Anyway, so shocking plot twist. Miguel loves music. Like loves music, okay? He's become obsessed with the music and stardom of this guy, Ernesto de la Cruz, a.k.a.
El Mentón.
Ernesto de la Cruz, the greatest musician of all time.
No, but like seriously though, this dude's butt chin is more cheeked up than a thumb from Spy Kids.
He started out a total nobody from Santa Cecilia, like me. He starred in movies. He had the coolest guitar. He could fly.
I'm sorry, but like, there's just something so funny about this 8-year-old kid in 2017 who's like obsessed with this actor, musician guy from the 1930s. Like, imagine a 10-year-old kid in 2024 just being like really into Don Knotts, you know what I mean? Honey, are you sure you don't want a cell phone? You can watch TikToks all day. Get out of my room, Mom! The Andy Griffith Show's on again. But yeah, so Miguel wants to be a singer, guitar player, dude guy, just like his idol, Ernesto. But remember, his family hates music. I'm sure you can probably see where this movie is going.
Until 1942, when he was crushed by a giant bell. Sometimes I look at De La Cruz and I get this feeling. Like, we're connected somehow.
Wait a minute, your great-great-granddad left to be a musician, and then here's some guy who's from your hometown who went on to become a famous musician? Nah, this is probably just a red herring. You can't fool me, Pixar. So that night is Dia de los Muertos, and there's a big talent show that Miguel really wants to be in. He's even made his own guitar, okay guys? Been practicing Wonderwall for like weeks now. But then his grandma finds out.
That man was Ernesto de la Cruz, the greatest musician of all time.
We've never known anything about this man. But whoever he was, he still abandoned his family.
You want to end up like that man? Forgotten? Left off your family's ofrenda?
I don't care if I'm on some stupid ofrenda.
So in case you don't know, an ofrenda is this big table thing for Dia de los Muertos that they put their ancestors' pictures on so the spirits can like cross over on that night, you know? And they put these like flower petals on the ground to help guide them, which is, but like, you know there's gotta be at least one uncle somewhere who's like, yeah, I know how to get around, okay, I used to live here, but more importantly, you still got my box of Hustler magazines upstairs? But okay, anyway.
No!
Mama!
There. No guitar, no music.
You know, the same kind of thing used to happen to me in school when like teachers would like rip up and throw away like all the little drawings I was doing in class. Well, look how that all turned out, Mrs. Anderson, Now, as you can probably imagine, Miguel's having some feelings about all this and lets his family know what's what.
I don't want to be in this family!
Miguel! Miguel!
Nah, I'm with you, Miguel. One time when I was like 10, my mom told me to mow the lawn, so I missed like half of Toonami that day. Oh, this is the final straw. I'm moving away forever. Don't even try and stop me. So Miguel runs away and tries to steal Ernesto's guitar that's sitting up in like his mausoleum grave thing because he still really wants to play in that talent show. And besides, he's just following the sage advice of Ernesto himself.
Great-great-grandfather? What am I supposed to do?
Mom spaghetti, but that's when something a little weird happens.
All right, who's in there?
I'm sorry, it's not what it looks like. De la Cruz is my...
That's right, turns out somehow mysterious magic. Miguel's been transported to the land of the dead, the skeleton world. Well, actually, if you think about it, we're already in the skeleton world. Whoa, dude. But now that Miguel is here, we get to see what this world is really like.
Yes, it is I, Frida Kahlo.
Well, shoot. Looks like no one put up your photo. Frida.
Okay, when I said I was Frida just now, that was a lie.
You don't say. Anyway, so just to summarize here, Miguel ends up running into his dead relatives who are really surprised to see him there, if you can imagine that. And they're also having their own problem because Miguel's great-great-grandmother Imelda, this lady, for some reason she can't cross over.
But none of this explains why I couldn't cross over.
Oh.
You took my photo off the ofrenda?
It was an accident.
How do we send it back?
Well,
Now, turns out sending Miguel back is actually pretty simple. All they have to do is just give him their blessing, and he can just go back. Wham, blam, blah, 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 movie's over, right, guys?
I give you my blessing to go home, to put my photo back on the ofrenda, and to never play music again.
What? Mariachi Plaza, here I come.
Yeah, so his family only wants to send him back if he promises to never play music ever again, which obviously he is not very cool with. However, there is one family member of Miguel's that would totally understand his love of music.
He's family.
Listen to your mama, Imelda.
She's just looking out for
Be
you.
reasonable.
Con permiso, I need to visit the restroom. Be right back.
should we tell him there are no restrooms in the land of the dead?
Now, while this is all going on, also at this police station, there's this guy named Hector. Remember this guy? We saw him earlier. He's in trouble because he tried to break through the gate and desperately brute force his way into the world of the living. Which, like, I don't know why, though, because, I mean, have you met living people? I mean, you ever worked a customer service job? Like, you ever just want to John Wick everybody? But whatever. Anyway, Miguel overhears him talking to a policeman about he totally definitely knows Ernesto de la Cruz, okay? So you should, like, do what he says. Kind of in the same way as how, like, in high school, like, I totally knew my Canadian girlfriend wanted to come to prom, but, like, her mom got kidnapped by ninjas, so she's busy again this year, too, okay? But then Miguel's like,
Hey, you're running no de la Cruz?
Who wants to? You're alive!
Yeah, I'm alive. And if I want to get back to the land of the living, I need de la Cruz's blessing.
That's weirdly specific.
He's my great-great-grandfather.
He's your what?
And so this sets in motion the rest of the movie where Miguel is tagging along with Hector because Hector maybe sort of kind of knows a guy who spoke to Ernesto once like 6 years ago. And this leads to Miguel going on a bunch of little adventures, and he learns a bunch of stuff about how this world works.
Wait, what happened?
He's been forgotten.
Yep, there's that signature Pixar special sauce where they make the cutest, most colorful movie of all time, and then they just throw in one of these. What a wackadoo, silly skeleton world full of music and dancing and hot babes. And one day, everyone in the world will forget about you, and then when they do, your soul will disappear forever. Anyway, tamales. So long story short, Miguel and Hector enter this world's version of the talent show from earlier, and they end up making friends with this group of people who win the competition and help them to sneak into the party to meet Ernesto.
Music is my language.
Are you all right? You are that boy, the one who came from the land of the living.
Okay, so I don't mean to nitpick here. Who am I kidding? I totally do. But like, why is he rushing to save Miguel if they think he's a skeleton like them? You know, like we've seen these people doing this kind of stuff. So like, is falling in water just like one step too far?
What about me?
You are all anyone has been talking about. Why have you come here?
I'm Miguel. Your great-great-grandson.
I have a great-great-grandson?
I mean, you're like a famous musician actor, dude. Like, I'm pretty sure you got at least 4,000 of these running around. Like, you kidding me right now? This dude's probably like the Nick Cannon of his generation. Anyway, so Ernesto wants to hang out with Miguel a bit more, but throughout the movie, we've seen how Miguel is like slowly shifting into a skeleton, and I guess we're just supposed to assume that when the sun rises the next day, he'll be dead like permanently.
I am sorry to see you go, Miguel. I hope you die very soon.
But that's when Hector shows up and we finally learn what's really going on here.
You're being forgotten.
And whose fault is that?
Hector, please.
Those were my songs you took.
What?
If I'm being forgotten, it's because you never told anyone that I wrote them.
Hector, I never meant to take credit. We made a great team, but you died.
That's right, everybody. Turns out Hector and Ernesto used to be best friends, and Hector wrote all of their most famous songs. But Ernesto got jealous or whatever and poisoned Hector, taking all of his songs and all the credit with him.
Miguel, I would hate to have you think
That you murdered Hector for his songs? Papa Ernesto, my blessing?
Security?
See, Miguel, it's like I always say, never meet your heroes, okay? Especially don't meet your favorite YouTubers, because like you will never meet anyone more mentally stunted than an online content creator. But so Hector and Miguel both end up in this prison pit thing, and that's when the truth finally comes out about everything.
She's forgetting me.
Who?
My daughter. I wish I could apologize. I wish I could tell her that her papa was trying to come home. My Coco.
Wait a minute, Coco is the name of Miguel's great-grandmother, and there's literally no possible way that any two people could ever have the same name. So that means Hector is actually Miguel's great-great-grandfather in the picture.
Where did you get this?
That's my mama Coco. That's my mama Imelda. Is that you?
And so this brings us to the end of the movie, where the rest of the family finally catches up to Miguel and breaks them out of the prison, and then they have to fight their way to Ernesto to get the picture of Hector that he has, because remember, the family like totally shunned Hector and removed every picture of him, so they have nothing left to put on the ofrenda. Now, of course, this brings Hector and Imelda back together, who somehow have not spoken much in like 80 years, I guess.
Just have to find De La Cruz.
Yes? Don't I know you?
That's for murdering the love of my life.
Who the? She's talking about me. I'm the love of your life.
I don't know. I'm still angry at you.
Hey, honey, she says the same stuff you do all the time. But now this brings us to the last little wrinkle in the story, which is, as we saw earlier, if you're completely forgotten, your soul disappears forever, right? And the only person alive who remembers Hector is Coco, but Coco has late-stage dementia, so she still thinks it's like 1957 or something. Hey there, Mama Coco, how you doing today? If you want a job, just march right in there, give them a firm handshake, and don't take no for an answer. Uh-huh, that's nice, Mama Coco. Here, it's time for your favorite breakfast, applesauce and medicine. What do you mean I can't drink and drive anymore? I thought this was America. So Miguel needs to get the picture of Hector and get back to the living world as soon as he can to put it on the ofrenda, or else Hector's gonna like cease to exist. But the picture ends up getting lost, and so Miguel's only option is to hurry back to the other world and try to get his great-grandmother to remember Hector just a little bit longer.
Mama Coco, can you hear me? It's Miguel.
Oh, Miguel, have you heard of this thing called the internet? It's crazy.
Remember, Papa? Please.
Did you know that Shrek and Danny Phantom make out sometimes? It's true, I saw it on DeviantArt.
If you forget him, he'll be gone. Forever. Here, this was his guitar, right? He used to play it to you?
Hey, Miguel, do you know what it means when someone tells me to throw it back for a real one? But just when it looks like nothing's gonna work, Miguel has to defy his family one last time and play music. And so he plays Ernesto's most famous song, which was actually the song that Hector wrote for Coco all those years ago.
Mama, wait.
Remember me, though I have to say goodbye. Remember me. Don't let it make you cry.
Man, this movie. Pixar was just on their A game here, you know? Like, they used to be so good at this, where the movie's really cute and fun, but it's also like super dark and mature. And like, this one's about death, but more so it's about being forgotten before being forgiven. And like, Hector is being forgotten because Coco has dementia, which is like super dark, especially for a kid's movie. But yeah, so in the end, Coco remembers her dad, and turns out that she has the ripped piece of the original photo. So they put it back together and put it on the ofrenda, which allows Hector to cross over to the land of the living forever, along with Coco, who passes soon after this. And that's more or less the end of the movie. So this one is definitely up there in like S-tier Pixar movies, right? One thing I really appreciate about this movie is how like the way all the pieces of the story fall into place, it feels really organic and logical. Like the way Hector is introduced, for example. Like at first he's just part of this visual gag about how the skeleton world is like an airport. And then because Miguel takes the photo with him, he ends up in the police station where Hector is. And just like the way they kind of meet and how Hector becomes a main character, like I thought it was just really well done. This movie never felt too contrived, to me at least. Like not that the story's like super highbrow, cerebral masterpiece or whatever, but just like the way things flow is very organic. It doesn't feel like insulting to the audience, if you know what I mean. I don't know if this movie's like the best Pixar movie ever, but it's definitely up there. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please watch another one, because that's how the algorithm works. So click on this one that's being recommended to you right now, right here on the screen. It actually helps a lot if you do that, because like that's how YouTube knows that my videos are worth caring about. Also, if you have any movies or TV shows you'd like to recommend, send me an email at alexmeyerscontact@gmail.com, and I'll put them on my absurdly long list of movies that I need to get to at some point. Anyway, hope I made your day a little bit better, and I'll see you all next time.